I lost all my friends during awakening. You feel all alone. But what I discovered is this happens for a reason. Now, if you're an older guy, like I was, I didn't have a lot of friends to begin with. I'd already started drifting apart from a lot of them because I just didn't feel I was on the same path as they were. Like, I didn't buy into the whole thing that everyone else seems to buy into with the world. I just didn't like this idea of constantly chasing, constantly wanting more. Instead, I kind of yearned for truth. I wanted to know the answer to deeper questions like, what's the point? What are we doing here? Who am I? What am I? What is this all about? And that yearning, that spark of spiritual seeking led me down the very long and lonely road of spiritual awakening. And as a result of that, the friends I did have left at that point were quickly kind of discarded, not through choice, but it just became untenable to keep in contact with people when I was starting to experience and see things in a whole new light that made me question not just the nature of my relationship with other people and not just the nature of my own being, but also the nature of reality itself. I finally saw through the illusion of being a separate person, the illusion of identity and labels. You take so much for granted. It's a Monday, it's 9 o'clock, it's this year, it's this month. All of those things, those labels, those definitions are just arbitrary. They've just been assigned arbitrarily. Even the rules laid down by society, they're not overarching truths about society. Even countries, there's a line here and this side of the line is this country and the line over there, over that line is another country. It's just arbitrary. It doesn't mean anything. It has no holding in reality. So as I started to question these things, question the use of language and question the nature of who or what I was, question the nature of reality, of course it dramatically impacted every relationship. Because I'd gone from a position of feeling I was an individual who actually had relationships with other individuals and being on this merry-go-round of pursuit and achievement to completely stepping off, where it's as if the engine that was driving this whole entity, it wasn't that it lost its power. It wasn't even that the engine was turned off. This engine that was driving relentlessly forward in pursuit of things and experiences, it wasn't just turned off. It was completely removed from being. It could no longer be put back in or turned on. And as a result of that, for many months, I literally did nothing. I sat in my room doing nothing for hours a day, trying to make sense of what had happened, trying to make sense of what I'd seen. This deep, visceral, physical knowing that there was no separation. There wasn't me over here and you over there. There wasn't this named individual and then another named individual who I'd call friend or partner or wife or son or daughter. That there was no separation. That all of this was not something I was observing. All of this was me. That I am all this. That I am not a person in the universe. I am not a person or a man experiencing the universe. I am the universe. I am all that there is, experiencing itself. And when you see that, when you deeply see that, when every single item you can perceive, every tree, leaf, stone, pen, object, person, every single thing emanates with this distant hum and glow of a likeness, of being. When you look at literally, a bird poop or a dog poop, and it has this same glow and same quality as looking in your loved one's eyes, or looking in a mirror, or looking at a bird flying in the sky, when everything is seen to be the same. When you look out across the fields and you don't see division, you don't see a tree, a hedge, some wheat fields, a farm, some buildings, you just see yourself. You are looking out upon yourself. And when you simultaneously sense, recognize, realize, understand, and then deeply know that you are at the same time nothing. You're not a separate anything, but simultaneously you are everything. Of course, that's going to change the outlook that you have and your relationships. Because at the deepest level, a relationship, by definition, is something that occurs between two separate individuals. So in the early stages of awakening, when you start to taste some of these insights, you start to get a sense for the fact there is no separation. You maybe see or feel that everything is connected. There is only this all that there is, and that you are that. Initially, you can really feel disorientated as that glimpse tries to be understood by the human mind. But what you've seen and what you've understood is beyond mind. The mind is a filter, and any glimpse you've had of truth has bypassed that filter. It's reached the deeper you. But the human mind can't help but try and get involved in these early stages of awakening to try and make sense of this. What does this mean for the little me, for the ego, for the individual that was and still clings on. What does this mean? And you start to take actions and make decisions and have thoughts based on this new knowledge. And you don't suffer lies or fools, not even gladly. You don't suffer them at all once you've witnessed this. You can see through so much. And the whole pretense that many people put forward of defending themselves, building up their identity, trying to prove to others, chasing things, you just don't buy into it anymore. You're not in that game. It's not that you're not playing the game. You've just completely seen through the table, the board game. You've seen that none of it truly exists. So initially there is this sense of loneliness, that you're on your own. And that is required on the spiritual journey. It is a requirement of the awakening to give you the time to process this, to give your human side an opportunity to try and assimilate what's been seen. And during that time, of course, it can feel very lonely. You can't talk to friends about this. They don't understand. They think you're mad. Even your family. So you kind of self-isolate and end up being stuck with thoughts and thoughts building on thoughts. But eventually, as this unfolds and it naturally blossoms within you, you realize the deepest understanding is that there is no separation between you and any other so-called individuals. So while you may not be in touch with friends again, while you may not have anything in common anymore, while you may have a completely different understanding and view of what reality now is and what you take yourself to be, at the deepest level, you know that it's okay. Because everything is just all that there is. And you are that. There is no friend called Jack or Jane. There is only all that there is. So don't feel lonely. Don't feel like you're completely alone. Because no matter what you're doing, no matter what you've seen or what you're aware of, or no matter what stage of awakening you're at, you are always and forever only with yourself.